Hey everyone, I want to go over Canvas apps today. So before we get started on Canvas app, I just want to mention there's another type of apps that can be created in Microsoft Power App called model-driven apps. So model-driven apps are built on top of Microsoft Dataverse tables. They leverage the data models defined in Dataverse environments, which means that views, detailed screens are automatically generated based on the data structure. So what that means is if you define a table and you define all the column and column types, column names, and everything, it automatically creates the views and detailed screens for you. This results in a consistent look and feel across the app without requiring much effort from the app creator. So what this means is all you have to do is define the type of tables that you want. Sorry, define the column and the other table information. Power Apps will generate the views and everything for you. So what's the advantages? You can create sophisticated data model. You can model business process, and you can be used to track activities associated with the data. So what this one is like, if somebody is changing something in a row or something, it can be tracked with model driven apps. These apps are particularly useful when you need to process large volumes of uh, data quickly and efficiently. So, since Microsoft Dataverse is like closely linked with Power Apps, it can handle large volumes very quickly with model-driven apps because everything is built with Microsoft Dataverse. Thing to point out: if you have data that is stored anywhere else, or if you want to work with data from any other data sources, your only option would be to Canvas apps. So, in this series of lectures, I will only be going over Canvas apps. So, Canvas apps, on the other hand, offer high degree of customization. So, uh, so it offers high degree of customization, meaning like you could create literally anything as per your business requirement. They can be built with or without a database. So what this means is you can have data that is stored anywhere, not just Dataverse, and use connectors. So connectors are how data from other data sources can be accessed by Power Apps to access data and services. So I don't want to go too much into connectors right away, but I just want to say not only accesses data, you can also access services like Microsoft Entra or SAP and all. So it can be used to, let's say you're trying to create an application to add people to a Microsoft Entra domain. You can create an app with this thing called services. Canvas apps start with a blank screen. So when you first create a Canvas app, a blank screen would be created, allowing the creators to manually design each screen and place elements as desired. So what that means is like when you click new, a blank application will be created, and you have to place the objects as per your requirements, and you could create as many pages or do whatever you need to do as per your business requirements. Canvas apps are best suited for scenarios where customized user experience is required. They offer a graphical, intuitive interface, the ability to create tailor-made UI based on user requirements, integration spanning multiple systems using connectors. I've been through all of these already. So choosing the right type. Model-driven apps enable you to build your apps quickly without having to design the UI. However, if your business process requires highly customized user interface or integrations with multiple systems, a Canvas app might be the better choice. So what this is saying is basically if you have a very specific need, which is not just adding and deleting stuff in a table, you have no choice but to use Canvas apps. And if your data that is not only stored in database, it's stored in multiple places, you have no choice but to use Canvas apps. That's what the next sentence is saying. If you must connect with multiple data sources, no choice but to create Canvas apps. In some cases, you might need to use both types of apps to create an end-to-end solution. So, so some parts of the applications you could create a model-driven app, and for some requirements you could create a Canvas app as per your requirements. So I'm just going to give you a tutorial on solutions. So you need to know what a solution is. A solution is a container used to package and transport apps, components, and customizations between environments. It plays a critical role in application lifecycle management, enabling developers to manage and deploy changes effectively across development, testing, and production environments. So when I log in into make.powerapps.com, I'm presented with this screen. On the top right, you will be able to see which environment you are on. So environment contains it's like a container where everything is stored. And over here, you'll be able to see this thing called solutions. Solutions is where you can create a particular solution. You can create a new solution by clicking this button, new solution, and I can name whatever I want. Okay, I'm just going to call it test solution. and publisher is going to you can select whichever publisher you want, and version, let's just keep it as 1.00 for the moment. When you create a solution, you'll be able to see the new solution that you just created, and inside the solution, let's wait for it. It takes a few seconds. And after a solution is created, you can create an application, Canvas apps, or model driven apps, and you can create a Power Automate flow also. Everything you need in your application can be contained in a solution, and you can create tables this way you create a dataverse table, and you can also create reports, dashboards, so many things. You can even embed Power BI reports into a solution. So right now, the way you would create an application is, if you go to the main Power Apps page, you can go to your solution, and you can go to app, and you can create a blank app, like a Canvas app. Right now, I'm just going to call my app as test app one, and you have to select the format, phone or tablet. I'm just going to select tablet for a time being. I just created a Canvas app. I also want to say that you do not have to create a solution in order to create an application. I'm just going to save this app right now, test app one. And when I say, I just click save. I'm just waiting for it to get saved. See, there's a saving button. When it's rotated, that means it's saving. Once it's saved, you'll be able to exit this app. So it's saved. So when I click this back, uh, I'm just going to click leave. And when I go back home, I can click. I can go to this thing called create, and I can go to start with blank canvas, or I can start with Copilot. You can start with the data, start with a page design. There are many ways to start an application. Most of the time, you would click on this button called start with a blank canvas. So you have to select the type of application you want: responsive, tablet size, or phone. Most of the time, you will be if somebody is going to be viewing this from a desktop, most of the time you will be going to tablet size. But if you want your application to be accessible via phone and a tablet or a desktop, you would go for responsive. But I'm just going to select tablet right now, and just like what we did last time, I'm just going to let's wait for this thing to get ready, and I'm just going to click skip, and see we have an app. The way you would add components to an app is going to this insert. I'm just going to drag and drop label. Label is just a text label. I'm just going to call it test label, and label, and I'm just going to save it as test app 2, and I'm just going to click test app 2. So I just created a new app called test app 2, and it's saving. Let's wait for a few seconds. It's saved, and I can leave. You'll be able to see all your apps. You don't have to go to solution to see your apps. You can go to apps, and it will just show you all the apps. So we created a test app 1 and test app 2. This test app 2 is not part of any solution. The way you would preview an application is by clicking on this play button, or you can go to details. You go to details, and you can save this link to your favorites, and you will be able to just go to that application right away. You don't have to log into make.powerapps.com in order to see the application. If you go there, to just have a basic application called test label, which just says test label. And let's go back to apps right now, and let's say I want to make a change. Like, I'm just going to add another label. Let's wait for it to load. I'm just adding another label, ABL2 label 2, and I'm clicking save. So if I refresh this button, I mean refresh this page, I'm not able to see anything right now because I haven't published it. Just because you are saving an application doesn't mean the end user is able to see the application right away. It needs to be published. You can publish an application by clicking on this button called publish, and you can put a brief description if you want. You can call it new updated app, and you can click this button, publish this version. And if somebody refreshes this, let's I think it's not published yet. Now let's refresh it. It says a new version of this app is coming. We'll let you know when it's available. If you click refresh, yeah, see, since that application is published, a new version of it is published, you'll be able to see the new label in that application. So if I go back, if for some reason I don't like the latest version, I'm just going to click save and exit. And I want to restore a previous version. What I can do is I can go to apps, I can go to test app, and I can go to this thing called where is that? Okay, I can go to details, and there's this tab called versions. And I'll be able to see all the versions that we have published, and you can see which one is live. And for some reason I don't like the version 2, and I want this version to be the version 1 is what should be shown to the user. I can click restore. What that will do, it will create a new version. And if you want people to be able to see this version, I have to publish again. So only when a version is published, the end user will be able to see. Every time you save an application, a new version will be created. So when it's published, uh, there's this column called publish where you're able to see which version is published. And every time you save, you'll be able to uh, create a new version, basically. I can go to apps right now. I can go to play. If I click refresh, see, this was how it was before we added the new label. So what I want to go through is, initially we created a solution, and I want to show you how to add an application to a solution. So there's this button called add existing. You can go to app, you can go to canvas app, and add an existing canvas app. So outside Dataverse. So you can select the application that you want to add. It is not part of Dataverse. It's out of Dataverse because we haven't added a table to it. And I can select the app that we had created. Now that app is also part of this solution. So let's wait for it. Adding solution object. So let's wait for this thing to complete. Yeah, so we added an application right here. I want to go over environments at the moment. So to go to see which environment you're in right now, you can click on this button, and there's only one environment right now. And the way I would create another environment is by clicking on the settings icon, and there's this setting called Admin Center. You click on this Admin Center, and there is this button called Manage, and there's a tab called Environment. You can create a new environment by clicking New, and I'm just going to call it uh, env2. And you can call it whatever you want, and just you could select a group. At the moment I don't have any group, so region, let's just keep whichever region you want to keep you have to select the type, because at the moment, since this is a developer account, I should only be using developer. If I have a license for, let's say, production or trial, I could select one of those, but at the moment I'm just going to select developer. And you can put a purpose. I'm just going to put it as new env environment demo. I'm just using it to demonstrate how to create a new environment. Create on behalf. No, I don't want to do that. Let's just leave the rest as it is. And I click next. And you have to select a language, currency. I'm just going to let everything else be default. Deploy sample apps and data. No, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to click save. So this environment has nothing in it. It will just be a blank environment with no apps or tables or anything. So it's not ready yet. Let's wait for a few minutes. Let's refresh. Yeah, it's ready. So if you click on this button, you'll be able to see the properties of the environment URL, region, and everything you'll be able to see. And let's say I have a solution. We already created a solution, and I can deploy it to say we have to create to deploy something to another environment. You have to create this thing called pipeline. I don't have a pipeline at the moment. I can create a pipeline. I'm just going to call it to env2. Okay, you can put a description if you want, and the environment that we created is called env2. You have to select where you want to deploy it to, and you can click save. So what this does is it tells the environment we currently on, tells you what whenever you deploy something using this pipeline, you have to deploy it to this environment. So we created a pipeline, and once we selected this pipeline, if there are multiple, you can select the pipeline you want. We have only one, so I selected it. And when you click on this button, deploy here, deploy, you can do a scheduled deployment also if you want to deploy it later. I'm just going to select now, and when I click next, it's validating. Let's wait for it to validate. Yeah, it's validated, and now you can click on this button, deploy. Currently deploying version 1.001. It might take a few minutes depending on how complicated your application or the pipeline, sorry, the solution is, depending on how much objects there are in your solution. It might take some time. You click on this button, go to environment. Or if you don't want to do that, you can go to the environment by using this button called environment. Either way is okay. So we are in the new environment. If you go to apps, there'll be nothing because the deployment is not complete yet. You can go to solutions also. You won't be able to see anything other than default solution and common data service default solution. So what we can do right now is, since our deployment is completed, this might take some time, taking about 5 minutes. I could go to run history and see all the deployments that were done for this particular solution using this particular pipeline. And you could then go to the other solution, and over here you can go, sorry, the other environment, you can go to solutions, you can go to managed, and you will be able to see the solution that we published right now. And you cannot directly edit this object with manage solution. So yeah, so you can ignore this message. So you'll be able to see all the applications that we have in this solution. So essentially, why you would create a solution is for this purpose, to be able to deploy from one environment to the other. In a corporate setting, you would create an environment for development where you do most of the development work, and you would create another environment where you would publish your applications and everything using a solution to the production environment. Production environment would be where the end user or customer or people who are going to use your application would be accessing the application from. So we have all the application. If you go to, let's just wait for it. So if you go to details, so you see this web link, Power App, something is there, right? It won't be the same. Like, why is this is a dollar? It won't be the same link that you are able to see when you go to solution. If you go to solution, so if you go to test app and you see the, let's wait for it. you go to details. So this link and the one that you see here would be completely different. So I want to quickly go over how you would rename or create a new icon for your app. So what you have to do is you can go to the app that you want to rename. Let's wait for this thing to load. Loading, loading, loading. You can click this button, like these three dots, and you'll be able to see a settings here. You click on the settings. You can click on this app to rename the. I mean, click on this pen to rename the app. Renamed. So I renamed the app. And if you want to change the app icon, you can select from a list of icons. Or if you don't want to have a icon, you can even add an image. Like I'm just going to select a random image that I have. So I just have a random image, and I'm just going to click close. And if I click publish, publish this version, and let's click save, closing. If I go to my application list, so this is the new application that we have. We have renamed the application. That's all, folks. See you in the next video on data connectors.